Halo Infinite Season 5 has been out for a wee while now, and I've been playing it a lot. In fact, this has probably been the most me and my friends have been playing Halo in a long time, and I'm talking about a year at this point. And it looks like we aren't the only ones, as the population of Halo has doubled since the season's launch, and it's still going up. So what's new? Why are people flocking back to it, and what can we look forward to as the season goes on? First off, I'll talk about the gameplay elements, and then I'll talk about the cosmetics. So 2 new maps were added, Forbidden and Prism. Prism is set in one of the mines where the actual pink crystals that are used for the Needler are mined in. Aesthetically, it's a very beautiful map, having a nice mix of natural cave beauty and sort of banished industrial feel, which I quite like. Gameplay wise, I'd say the map plays best on the Slayer mods and Oddball. It's got a nice variety of combat hot points and some nice elevation to keep the fighting interesting. Biggest tip I can give for this map is grab the Needler. It's the special variant of the Needler that's found in the campaign, and therefore it is much more deadly. Seriously, you just look at somebody, hold the trigger for like a second and they're dead. So if you hear the Needler firing towards you, just give up, just put your controller down, you're dead, there's no point in fighting it. And speaking of Oddball, for the love of God, pick up the ball. Why are people still struggling with this? Pick up the ball. Forbidden is a slightly bigger map, with its stone Forerunner architecture, very reminiscent of Halo 2, which is my favourite Forerunner aesthetic, so I'm a big fan of this. This map is better for the objective game modes such as Flag, Land Grab and King of the Hill. Slayer can feel a little slow in it just because of its size and just all the corners it has and just sort of the clutter that's in the middle. There's not a lot of really good sightlines, but it's still fun all the same. And of course there is the secret Easter egg sandwich weapon that you can find, which is just fantastic, so more of that please 343, just more fun stuff like that. Overall, these are some pretty solid maps and are a welcome addition to the map pool of the game, because you always have that worry when multiplayer games used to release map packs, you're like, I hope these are good, and sometimes they would be good, and then sometimes they wouldn't be so good, which is always a shame, but thankfully these maps are very good and I quite like them. I'd probably say my favourite of the 2 that has been added is Forbidden. I just like the objective game modes a bit more. Game mode Extraction has been brought back from Halo 4, a game mode I very much enjoyed back then. Again, 343, if you could bring back Ricochet from Halo 4, that would also be great. Or if somebody could make it in Forge. Extraction is pretty fun, if not a little chaotic. Sometimes too chaotic depending on the map. On Aquarius, for example, it can just get way out of control in terms of just sheer grenade spam. But overall, it's a fun game type, just could use a little tweaking here and there. My only gripe is that it feels way too similar to what King of the Hill has now become. It's exactly the same, except you have to arm something and protect it instead of just standing in it. Which to me just seems like the perfect time to bring back the classic version of King of the Hill and get rid of this new version, because there's no point in having 2 game modes that are functionally exactly the same. A new weapon was added, the Bandit Evo, or essentially the DMR but with a scope. I have to say, I am a fan. I'm not a fan of the default Bandit, I just struggle to use it, but this one feels really good to me and I quite enjoy it. Overall, multiplayer feels great. The few new additions combined with the playlists and Forge maps we got last season gives us a whole bunch of variety now. Compared to what we had at launch, the playlist we have now is night and day in comparison. There's something for everyone now. Me and my friends have mostly been playing either just Team Slayer or the Squad Battle playlist for a bit of nostalgia, or jumping into Infection every now and then. And speaking of nostalgia, later on in the season there will be a Halo 3 sort of throwback playlist that will be added, and it will be populated with 8 classic maps remade in Forge. Some are just straight up remakes, whereas others are more heavily inspired by, kind of like the Countdown remake reimagining we got last season. This playlist will be added on November 14th, and I can tell you right now that I will be living on that playlist for ages. I cannot wait to play High Ground again. Something else that will be added later on in the season is Firefight, something that I've been looking forward to for a while, and I'm going to be honest, it still hasn't sunk in that Firefight is coming back yet, but I'm still super excited to play it. Once that comes out, I'll make a video on it. Forge also got a few new additions, 2 new camsies, one of which is an ice one, and campaign AI has been added to Forge, meaning Forgers can essentially make their own PvE experiences for us to try out. And the possibilities for this is massive. Already I've seen people make their own versions of Left 4 Dead, their own sort of scuffed versions of Firefight, and other wacky stuff. Again, the power of Forge in this game continues to amaze me, and I can't wait to see what people come up with. Okay, on to cosmetics. On the cosmetic side of things, we got some very nice improvements. The biggest of which is that helmets are now cross-core, meaning that you can use any helmet on any armor set. No longer are the Mark 7 helmets limited to just the Mark 7 set. You can mix and match as much as you want now. It may not seem like much of an improvement, but just that slight bit of added creative freedom is huge. Some armors just look better with other helmets. I'd say the Mirage armor has benefited from this the most, as a lot of the Halo Reach sort of Mark 5-ish helmets on it just look amazing. To the point now where I'm actually going back and working on the Season 3 Season Pass now, so I can unlock some more shoulder pads and knee pads for the Mirage armor, just because mine looks a little bare right now. Other things that were added were the flood themed armor and gun skins, which do look cool, but I probably won't wear them. The gun skins though I will be using. I'm just waiting for that Halo Combat Evolved Mark 5 armor to come to the store. Like, I'm super excited for that. And that is where I sort of start my complaints about this season. Now, it just seems to me that with all this renewed goodwill and hype that the community has for the game right now, has warranted 343 to up the prices in the store, which is not good. This is worrying and probably the only bad thing I can say about the season so far. 343, I want to give you money, but I am not spending £20 on a bundle of 12 things when really I just want one thing in that bundle. Just sell things individually. Why are you making it difficult for me to give you money? Just please. And I'm hearing that there's still some like problems here and there on the PC version of the game, but I can't really speak on that because I play on Xbox. But overall, this season has had a fantastic start, and I hope 343 can keep this up. The hard work and passion can be seen with this season's offerings, and I can't wait to see how the season progresses. This really does seem like Halo Infinite might be beginning its resurrection, if you will, but as always, I am forever cautious when it comes to believing in 343. It is 343 after all. Just when you start believing in them, they fuck up. But this is the new 343, and so far they are doing a fantastic job. And I can happily say that I am enjoying playing Halo again for the first time in a year, which is good, and I hope they can keep this up. But what do you guys think of Halo Season 5 so far? Are you enjoying it? What things do you think they still could add or improve? And what game modes and what maps are you looking forward to play in the Halo 3 playlist? I'm interested to know. But thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.